Hey friends, it's Nikki here with Stillwater's Wreath Designs. Let's make a Easter Bunny frame wreath using the Dollar Tree Easter Bunny frame. The supplies that you'll need will be one Dollar Tree Easter Bunny wire wreath frame. You'll see I have a second round frame here. I had actually intended to do something a little bit more extravagant, but ran out of yarn, so we'll save that for another time. You're also going to need 2 rolls of white Loopy yarn. I got that from Amazon. Some wired ribbon of your choice, a pair of scissors, your hot glue gun and a glue stick, a couple of pipe cleaners, preferably white, and a few zip ties. I'm just going to cut the tag off of my bunny wreath frame, and I'm going to grab my white Loopy yarn. One thing I learned really quickly, friends, is that this stuff is super cute and super tangly, so make sure you handle it with care. I found myself untangling several times throughout this video. I'm going to start up by the ears. This yarn is also very forgiving in terms of hiding flaws, so you don't need to be discreet about tying this on. I just tied a couple of good solid knots with the yarn so that it was firmly attached. And at this point, there's just lots and lots of wrapping the Loopy yarn all the way around the entire circle part of the wreath frame. If you get any tangles, just take a quick break, untie it, and if you have to, cut it off. Tie your Loopy yarn tightly around your base, get your yarn untangled, and then start again. I had to do that a couple of times. We'll occasionally use a drop of glue to secure the yarn in place so it doesn't get too squirrely. I will tell you that I'm wrapping this yarn around the frame pretty tightly and making sure that I keep pushing that yarn up into itself so that it's really full and we don't see any of that wire frame sticking through. I think this is going to be just adorable. It's probably going to take about an hour or so to complete, but it's really nothing more than a whole bunch of repetitive wrapping, wrapping, wrapping. Depending on the length of your Loopy yarn, you may run out of your first roll before you get finished with this wreath. I know that I did. When that time comes, friends, just go ahead and tie the end of one bit of Loopy yarn to the next and just keep on wrapping. To wrap the ears, we're going to do the same concept. Just grab your Loopy yarn, tie it in a tight knot around the bottom of the ear base. Once you get that tied, it's just lots of wrapping, wrapping, wrapping. I'm pulling it through and around 4 or 5 times, pulling tightly on the yard to make sure it's firm and secure. And we're just going to work our way around the ears. When you get to the point of the ear top, go ahead and just put a little drop of glue to hold the yarn in place so that it doesn't slouch. When you've worked your way down to where the two ears meet, at that point we'll start to wrap that yarn around both of the ear pieces at the same time. There's no need to separate between the two because of the bulkiness of the yarn, so just go ahead and wrap your way around both at the same time. When you get to the bottom portion where the ears meet the base, go ahead and tie it off. Well, cut it off first and then tie it off. And then we'll start on the second ear. Go ahead and add a drop of glue at that base so that your yarn doesn't shift. All right, time to wrap the last bit. Let's just wrap our yarn all the way around this last ear, and then we'll be finished adding the loopy yarn. Remember to add a drop of glue at the tip of that ear so that your yarn doesn't shift. Once you get to the bottom of this ear, go ahead and tie it off. Cut off the excess loopy yarn and put a drop of glue at that base to hold that yarn in place. This is turning out absolutely adorable. I think the last thing we need to do here is add a cute bow. I'm going to go ahead and use the bow dabra for this specific bow. I'm just going to use two types of ribbon today, friends. I've got a 2.5-inch wired ribbon that's a fuchsia pink with white polka dots, and then a 1.5-inch wired ribbon that is a sparkly glitter. If you're still learning to make bows, I do have a couple of tutorials on my channel. One will give you step-by-step instructions on how to use the bow dabra, and the other will teach you how to make an easy hand bow. So be sure to click on those videos if you'd like some help with your bow. Okay, let's get this bow added to our bunny wreath. I've decided to put it off to the side of its ears. I'm just going to grab a clear 6-inch zip tie to fasten that down to the wreath, snipping off the edges. I'll fluff out my bow. Once we get it fluffed out, I'll just dovetail those ends. Thank you for hanging out with me today, my crafty friends. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you like this tutorial, give it a thumbs up. Thanks, friends. Happy crafting.